Imagine a training program which proposes educare for the skeletal structure and the interdependence of bodily systems, such as the organ system and the nervous system, in order to create balance, form, and appropriate tone.
So the fact that we all have the same skeleton is just this very profound beginning point. And nobody does that wrong. So we all enter with all the tools that we need. And the somatics help us get in touch with those tools and get in touch with this. Oh, right. I have a femur, you have a femur. How do we experience our femurs? And that's what gets interesting. Look how I experience my femur. It's different than how you. And then you don't feel like, oh, I can't pirouette as many times as they can, because you're experiencing something that's the same and appreciating both the similarities and the differences.
And that's one thing that I really love about Movement Fundamentals, is that no matter where you are in your process, you can enter. I came to the Movement Fundamentals curriculum when I was 11 years old, as a result of the tenet that Jane was setting even then when she was first beginning the curriculum of all ages, all abilities.
It teaches you how to activate and enliven your body through alignment, through range of motion, through efficiency, and anyone can use those skills, whether you're a little kid or an adult or someone with other abilities. It breaks a lot of those barriers down.
So many people can do it, and accessibility is a very strong value in both of our personal missions. And so the fact that this is a way to get movement and dance out there in the world and show people that it's a healthy way of living, it's a way to make people feel happy, because I actually feel like it easily connects emotions to the practices that we're doing, which I haven't seen in all other dance disciplines.
These core concepts of how your not only body moves, but I look at it as a bigger picture. It's your mind and your thoughts and your emotions, and how that all moves is going to affect your health and overall how you function in the world, not just in the class or a seminar. So that's why it's beneficial not only to me as a participant, but then up and coming potential other students or just participants in other workshops, that you'll learn skills that won't only affect that class, but you'll take them away and literally affect your life. Like when it's coming to like healthcare, it'll affect maybe even the length of or extent of your life or how you live your life.
So many of my clients, it's like separate from their regular life. This is what I do to keep my body healthy, and then this is what I do in life. And I feel like the two should be together. When Jane keeps talking about it being a practice, that I don't know why, that word has just been really sticking to me this whole time. That it's like a daily practice. This is what I do as part of my art form. I learn how to train my body appropriately. I understand its anatomy. I understand not only the physical part of it, but also the emotional part and the fluid part and the organ part and the sensitivity part. I am 38 years old, and this is new to me because I was never trained in that way to incorporate that all within my dance and within my art. It was mostly just making shapes and repeating what I saw.
What you're working on in the classroom, say alignment, for example, how are you going to work on your alignment and the way that your body functions, and if you can't work on that all the time. So the technique class seems to have sort of this we do it here and we dance and we do this thing and then we leave and we're whoever we are. But the somatic approach is you are who you are, you take this body everywhere, and you embody it here in the class when you're moving and improvising, and you embody it when you're taking out the trash, and you embody it when you are brushing your teeth and washing your hands or holding your child, picking up your child.
Sandra Fraley talks about somatics as movement anyone can do. And when I first heard that definition, I went, oh, what? Somatics, the body is experienced within by first-person sensation, and Thomas Hanna's classic definition. And then I went, oh yeah, it's social. And thereby, what this work is really about is empowering the participant, teaching people how to make their own choices, about their movement, about how their expression of their existence shifts, that is what this is really about, and that is powerful.
Imagine a training program which embodies agency, refinement, and inclusion for all body shapes, all ages, and all abilities. So we're finding that phase 1 connects to movement fundamentals 1, phase 2 connects to movement fundamentals 2, phase 3 connects to movement fundamentals 3, phase 4 connects to making evening length work. And so it's almost like I'm done teaching now. That's all. Just go into yourself and see what you wrote. After 10 years, and then I took time to apply and have my sabbatical. During that time, away from teaching, I was able to start to negotiate what is the most efficient way I can share this radical shift in dance training. And how can I invite people to wrestle with this word of dance and this word of movement? And when does movement become dancing, and when does the dancer become an artist, and really wrestling with all those things, but efficiently. And can I develop a practice that I could do in the middle of raising 4 beautiful, rambunctious boys, or doing the dishes, or preparing supper, or getting the kids to school, and I'm teaching. How do I prepare myself in the same manner as I'm believing the curriculum trains? And so it was about a year where I developed this idea of phase 1, prepare myself to move. So that could be lying in bed in the morning. And usually I drop into the pretty similar patterns. Second phase is first phase, prepare myself to move. Second phase, move. Third phase, dance. Fourth phase, what do I notice? What is striking? What arrests my attention? So those 4 phases eventually can be done in a minute each, or they could be done in a half an hour each. The range is malleable, and the rigor in response to that doing, so the practicing, is in writing, and you document what you did, or what you thought, or what images came up, or what sensations came up, so that you have a way of reflecting back upon the practice. So the theory then can come back into the practice, and the practice feeds the theory. And I'm excited about that, because then from each of those phases, we can break it down. That phase 1, say Amanda is in phase 1, and she allows herself to do that for 15 minutes, and then she goes and she journals about that. What she journals could become how she teaches Movement Fundamentals 1, practices of alignment and function, and on and on and on. So then she goes into phase 2, move. She moves for 15 minutes, and then she disciplines herself to articulate what came up, how she was moving, what was needed. And from her answers, she would have a plethora of material to teach in Movement Fundamentals 2, practices of range and efficiency. Same thing with phase 3, dance. She dances for 15 minutes. She tracks, theoretically, what did I do, how did I do it, what was needed. And then this is her body of the way she would teach, or her body of material of the way she would teach Movement Fundamentals 3, practices of vocabulary and intention. And then the 4th phase is, how do we witness? What do we notice? What arrests us? Is how we make our art. What is needed to make our art for ourselves. Imagine a training program which guides the student through explorations in order to find out what matters to them or what is important to them, and then charges this student or the one who practices into research and discovery of that which matters and is important to them.
The curriculum is taught not through hierarchy.
The teacher, the new word, say, could be facilitator. I, as a facilitator, my responsibility is to create an environment and guide the practitioners into understanding practices of alignment and function. And so the facilitator would not stand in front of the room and demonstrate and have all of the practitioners do what I'm doing, but rather use images or touch and getting the practitioner to understand their own body and space by understanding, okay, this is my skull, how does the skull float to the sky? Well, touching it immediately sends the neurological system to tell the brain where I am in space. So it orientates me, touch orientates, and so that's a word called proprioception. The sensory nerves fire to the brain to tell the body where it is in space. So imagery, proprioception or touch, and then awareness, but awareness through our senses, in not only 5 senses, but this idea of sensing through environment, sensing through emotions, sensing through physicality, sensing through spirituality, which you could say are the chemical senses. Different ways of just understanding, sensing spatially where I am. So those are the ways we develop the practice.
So thinking about movement fundamentals for the way we teach, for the way we work together, for the way we live our lives, the way we kind of interact with each other, it's like finally this kind of like nice solid base that we can build from.
Yeah, it's a way of aligning what we do to something that we believe in.
I ran into Jane at NDEO, and I just went, wow, you're doing what I want to do, what I believe in, but haven't dared to really take on.
For me, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Just getting to know her, just feel her presence, her aliveness, her energy, and hear from her how she distill all her knowledge and experiences to create this philosophy.
What I feel like Jane has really then developed is that next level then of facilitating these young people in then finding their own creativity. So going beyond that even. So you go through this first process where you're just getting comfortable with yourself and your skeleton and noticing how I'm like all these other people, how I'm different from all these other people, appreciating the similarities, the differences, but then being able to go to the next place and be creative from there, that's really quite amazing.